Yo, 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 yo. What's good, y'all? Your boy Justin Henry here. You already see on the other side, man. You ain't seen his face on the channel in a minute, but he back, baby. My boy P, man. What's good, dog?
Shit, man. Man, just chilling out here. I'm just I got a few endeavors going on, but we tapped in, man. Fantasy
You ain't got shit.
football's here.
That's why
We
you're here.
bro, you see it, man. Full circle group,
Hey,
man. You know what I'm
hey.
saying? You see
You know what else
you
we
know the
got
vibes.
going on, P? Week one's here, bro. It's Thursday. We got football on, so obviously we got a lot to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's had their drafts already. Shout out to everybody who had their draft and everybody here in the chat. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a last minute, show. So if you know what I'm saying, you got in here, it's perfect timing because we're gonna talk about trades. Obviously, like I would say, that's our specialty right here, trade talk. Actually, I'm gonna open up the chat too, bro. I'm gonna open up the chat, man.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it gets crazy. If it get crazy, then I gotta close that motherfucker back up. But I'm gonna open up the chat and see what's good. If it get too crazy, I'm gonna close back up. Just so y'all know. But at the same time, we gotta talk about trades, bro. So we got a few players on our agenda to talk trades. But if you guys have some in the chat, let us know. Clam Oyster, what's good? He said, Jahan, what's good? Finnegan, what's good? Jahan, we almost back. Let's go. And listen. Jahan Fantasy website getting updated with the game-by-game breakdowns. You guys can go check it out, jahanfantasy.com. Basically, it's, it's up. And I'll have the full video, game-by-game video up probably tomorrow sometime. So we ain't almost back. We are back, baby.
It's time.
Jahan, Najee's line at 36.5. Ooh, that's intriguing. I'd probably stay away and keep it real though. Like just to see what it looks like. There's no point in it. Like I'd almost rather take the juice on like an anytime score than the yardage.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like who are they up against? Week one?
Chargers play Chiefs on Friday.
Chiefs got a stout defense. I don't know. 36.5 yards. Honestly, seems a little enticing, but I don't know. He hasn't played all preseason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's up with his eye, if he got that vision or not.
So we actually got the first update from Najee himself. He said this yesterday, the very first update with his eye. So they call it it's something that means surface. I forget what the exact word was. Not substantial. I don't know why I can't think of the word right now. Normally I'm pretty good with that. But basically, it's a surface level injury. So nothing that impacted his vision. So this is from Najee. I don't know. I'm just going based off the information we have. Nothing that affected his vision. So I guess the reason why they kept him out was just for that reason. It was just to get him up to speed, not go the preseason, not go through the motions, let the eye injury heal. Nothing that affected his vision, so to speak. So that's the update on Najee. My guess is if we see anything close to what I think his workload will be, he's going to smash this 36.5. He'll smash
it. I don't know, bro. I don't see it. You know what I can see? I can see them trying to go with the hot hand, right? If Najee looks great, then that's one thing, but I wouldn't bet on him actually like looking great, like his first action really of all offseason. You know what I mean? Like busting through holes. Where's that burst at? Where's his vision at? Whereas if like Omarion Hampton looks good or he just looks adequate or even better, I think he could run with it, man. So I don't know. That's a line that I would stay away from. It seems like one of those bait lines to me. Like, oh, he's got to, it's a running team. He's got to fucking crush 36.5. He's got to hit at least 37 yards. But against like KC's not a punk in the run defense. They got a good defensive line. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on where he's at in his recovery. Because if he's full go, he's probably gonna see 12, 15 carries.
But they've been saying he's full go.
Yeah, if he is full go, it's 12, 15 carries, 100%. Like they're not gonna keep him at 6 to 8 carries. That doesn't make sense. What's up, Jahan? Frankie was good. Start Williams over him this week. Over who? Are you talking Najee? This is a good question for you, P. Would you start Javonte Williams or would you start Najee Harris this week? Javonte Williams on Thursday going up against the Eagles defense, and then Najee Harris going up against the Chiefs defense with Chris Jones.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. I think I would start Javonte Williams. I'm never a fan of like starting the Thursday play, like your fringe Thursday night players. But if you're like one or two starting one or the other, I think I would, because there's not much competition when it does come to running backs out there in Dallas. I think that rookie Blue has been disappointing to the team. Sounds like he has character issues. It sounds like they're like going to try to make a statement. so that way he can kind of get out of the doghouse. Whereas Javonte Williams, it seems like it's his role to really capture that defense he's going up against. I don't like it. They're going to be playing from behind, it seems like. So I think I would start just from a fantasy perspective. Who can get the most fantasy points, Williams or Najee? I'm going with Williams.
I think the pass catching work will probably be there for Javonte a little bit more than Najee, but they're similar plays for me. Like touchdown or bust, otherwise you're probably under 10 points either way. Like I just think that both of them are going to need a touchdown to be viable. And to me, against I think Najee would have a better opportunity at scoring than Javonte. I think Javonte, if I was just looking for like 10 points, though, probably going to see 2 or 3 catches in the passing game. I don't even know if he'll get that because they've been talking to Blue as like a Sproles type, and Miles Sanders is back now too. So both situations aren't ideal. Stamp on it. I'll go Javonte so we can see what Najee looks like.
Let's do it.
I don't have confidence in that. Normally, you know what I'm saying? I don't have confidence in that. Should I trade Mike for Marv? Upside for floor. Which one you want?
What do you mean upside for floor? You think Marv's upside's higher than Mike's?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't get how you can say that. I don't get how you can say
Tell
that.
me, talk to me. So I got the reason why I think Mike is he's safe 1,010. Like we've kind of seen this. Obviously, Chris Godwin's out to start the year, so Mike's upside earlier are probably gonna be a little better. But what's Mike's upside? Like when we're talking upside, what do you think for Mike?
I think Mike's value right now, his upside is like 12, 13, and if he's playing a full season, 12, 13, and like 10, right?
You don't think Marv has that in his upside ceiling?
I think it's a little more far-fetched for Marv to get that, just based off of the situations that they're in, right? Arizona's a running team. Marv. Let me get this out of the way, dude. Like Marv has the pedigree. Marv has all this other good stuff about him. Marv didn't look that good his rookie year. He hasn't looked that good this preseason. We know what we're going to get from Mike. We know that offense, they push the ball downfield. We know that Mike is going to be catching them big chunk plays. We know that they look for Mike in the red zone as well. We don't know exactly what this next step that Marv is going to take. We're hoping that it can be like 12, 1,300, but why hope for it when you can have that in Mike?
See, I think we had this conversation last year. Somebody asked me this on a live last year. They said, who would you rather draft, Mike or Marvin? Last year it was clearly Mike. I was like, oh, yeah, Mike's the play no matter what. This year is the ascension year. This year is the year Drew Petzing has talked about getting him more involved. This is the year Marv's put on the weight. This is the year supposedly they're supposed to open up the passing game a little bit more. So, yes, it does come with the leap of faith. But, like, if you're talking about evolution as a player, we saw the floor from Marv last year. I mean, he was a top 30 guy. It's not like he was, playing at an extremely high level. I just think that the room for growth isn't 1,300, 1,200 yards for Marv. The room for growth for me is like 1,500, 1,600 yards. We're talking like elite receiver in the game type shit. So for me, I would take that upside. When I talk about upside, we know what Mike is. That's what I mean by floor. I know what Mike is. There's no 1,500 yards in Mike anymore. Like that's just not who he is. Marv, I think the upside is like 1,400, 1,500 yards. What's up?
Why wouldn't there be 1,500 yards for Mike?
Mike's at the end of his career. He's had what, 1,500 yard season back when Brady was playing 5 years ago? Like that's why it's just not there for him.
So last year he missed what? He missed 3 games, right? Yeah. And he went out frankly early in that Baltimore. Oh, it was he was kind of cooking, but and he still cracked 1,000 yards. And the way that offense is a downhill offense. They're going to push the rock downfield. They got somebody with a live arm, and they're missing a veteran wide receiver in Godwin. So, do you think it would what do you think?
Liam Cohen's gone. This offense has Bucky now. Like, there's just a little few changes to this offense, and where they don't really need Mike to be 1,500 yard Mike, and Mike don't got the same. I mean, he's still good downfield. He's still a big body. He still has speed. I'm not trying to knock Mike. I fuck with Mike. You know that. But I just think that the 1,500 yard Mike is not there no more. That's not him. Whereas Marv. If Marv gets things clicking, we might see a whole different version of Marv. That's why.
Yeah, I think Mike finishes around realistically like 1,300. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 10.
How many times has Mike had 1,300 in his career?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think the answer rhymes with once.
Once?
Yeah, if you look at, I think it's only once. I think Mike's only had, and that's another thing too. You want to talk about like injury. Mike does get banged up at times too. Like even if you talk about on a per game, on a per game basis, it's like Mike does kind of get banged up. So I'm not saying Mike's a bad pick here. I don't think that at all. I just think that they serve different purposes. I'm anticipating Marv breaking out. I'm anticipating Marv being like that guy. I'm anticipating Mike continuing to be Mike, which is a 1,000 to 1,200 yard receiver most years with 10 plus touchdowns.
Yeah, so he had 1,500 yards in 18, and he had 1,300 yards in with Brady.
Since the turn of the decade.
He had 1,255 with Brady, and then he had 1,300 yards way back in the day in 2016. Damn, he's been in the league for a while. But I mean, one thing I will say is like he consistently misses games, right? I think he's only played 17 games once in his career.
God damn, bro.
And still putting up some numbs, though.
Still putting up some numbs. What's good? Ground Santo, what's good, bro? What's good? What's good with you, man? Listen, I want to get into some players, too. Let's answer a few more questions and then get into some players because we're going to talk some trades. Buy low, sell high.
Mm-hmm.
Took 3 running backs in the – oh, my God. I sometimes I hate edits. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I hate edits because the way that edits are portrayed, it's like people act on it. El Gran Santo said 12-man PPR league, 11th pick. Took 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, like you said, improvements where. So I don't mind. I think that 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds is a good thing to do. It's not something I swear by, though. So I hope it wasn't like you took that as this is how I draft. I've talked about this a lot. Like I got different strategies based on how I go into the draft and who I'm drafting with and how the board plays out. So let me see how I play it out real quick for you. You got Drake Manfields as your quarterbacks. Derrick Henry, James Cook, Breece Hall, ETN, Braylon Allen. Oh, this team's good. BTJ, JMO, Waddle, Pittman. Is that T. Higgins? Ferguson. This is good. This is 12? 12 man. You went
Henry, BTJ. They
BTJ
came back, and then he came back and went like Jay Cook.
Higgins in the 3rd, James Cook. Then you got Hall in the 4th. Damn. I ain't mad at this. I ain't mad at this setup. I'm not.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. And a 12-man too?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Oh, no, that's not T. Higgins. That's Jaden Higgins. The way you line that up, that's Jaden Higgins.
Oh.
If that was T. Higgins, I was like, yo,
if that was T. Higgins, it'd take you to another level. But Jaden Higgins isn't – he's one of my sleeper players, though. Jaden Higgins, I think, is going to be nice. Big, but he can be very similar to T. Higgins in that offense as that number 2.
You think Jaden Higgins is T. Higgins?
No, I'm saying Jaden Higgins is what, 6'4". Okay, they could be cousins. I don't know. They could be cousins. I don't know. But look, he's a number 2. You got an alpha number 1 there. And here's another thing about the Texans. They, as far as rushing defenses go, they go against probably one of the top rushing defensive schedules. So I wouldn't be mad that if they were to air it out a little bit more this year. We already seeing Mixon hurt. We're going to find out what they got in a recovering Chubb and then the rookie, and then of course Harris and how they look. But like I expect Stroud to take a step forward in year 3, and you got Nico, you paid your tight end, and then you got Higgins, who is a solid rookie. I think he's going to have really good upside in this offense. Big body guy, can contested catch guy, could look good as far as red zone targets and whatnot. And you could get him virtually for free. So I'm not mad at that. We
talked about Jaden Higgins. I talked about the draft guide a lot here on the channel. So yeah, Jaden Higgins, man, that TD upside, you can't really pass that up. How confident are you on starting Fields every week? I feel good about it until he shows me otherwise in the passing game. I think the rushing floor is there, and you might get a little instability, but I feel good about him as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, week 1 is going to be a test. He's going against what I think is probably going to be the best defense this year.
But it's a revenge game now.
It's a revenge game. Like I'm hoping, like I got my shares of Fields, and I'm hoping he cooks, but. That front, the pass rush, that secondary in Steelers is crazy, and there's just a little bit of instability there when it comes to that. But I mean, I like his season outlook.
Yeah, Sonny G asks, trade Rashee Rice for Chuba Hubbard, and as we get into these trades, P, this is the time of year where like the only value you really can go off of is like where you drafted them at. That's the value because it's like we kind of all drafted players. We have values, right? But you go back and you're like, I drafted Rashee Rice in the 6th round. Chuba Hubbard was drafted in the 4th round. This seems like a good one-for-one deal, right? You really got to evaluate your roster. So in an 8-man league, chances are teams are already stacked. The reason why I think Rashee Rice is probably the hold here, unless you're just desperate at running back, is really what upside do you get with Chuba Hubbard? Like in an 8-man league, what you need is like studs to propel you over the top during fantasy playoffs. And I think with Rashee Rice, even though I think I don't know that he's effective for the first like 7 to 10 weeks of the year. I think it's going to take a while for him to ramp up. But that after the bye, he's probably going to be locked in at least as a wide receiver 2. Chuba Hubbard, I think he's more RB2-ish, like with a very low ceiling.
Yeah, I like Chuba Hubbard this year. I really do. I think that entire offense is underrated. I think people are underrating the hell out of that offense. We've seen it pick up at the end of last year. But if we're in the context of an 8-man team, every team is stacked. I would rather have a Rashee Rice waiting in the whims as like coming back as a high-end RB or wide receiver 2 than Chuba Hubbard, who probably is going to be I feel like you probably already have somebody who could fill that void of what you're looking to fill, like the difference. I think Rashee Rice is still more valuable in an 8-man league.
You said Chuba Hubbard's underrated. What's underrated? Like, because he goes top 17 in running back right now. Where do you think he belongs?
So he's top 17 running back right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a top 12. If he finishes as a top 12 running back. I'd rather like right now he's going behind people like Alvin Kamara. He's going behind people like James Cook. I think I'd rather have Chuba Hubbard over James Cook. I think I'd rather
James Cook and Kamara.
Of course, over Kamara. I'd rather have him over Kamara. Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, there's a.
What is
trust
going
me, bro.
on,
No, listen. Kamara is cool. Kamara is what 30 years old now, or he's going to be 30 years old when the season starts. His team is trash.
I think he's 29. Is he 29 or 30? Hold on, because I know you trying. Is the point 30-year-olds or is it just he's old?
He's 30 right now.
Okay.
So he's 30 right now. We know what running back his usage has been crazy throughout the year. The biggest thing is this: his team is trash, right? So you got a 30-year-old running back. They paid him this offseason. I think they just paid him so that way he can run his farewell tour on the Saints, so he can just be on the Saints. When teams are garbage and those older players who are established and don't really have much to play for, and they're going to be on your team for the foreseeable future, they can get an injury, whereas like if their team was competitive, they would stick it out. If their team's not competitive, they're going to play the injury off like it's worse than what it is, get paid, and just ride it out to a sunset. I can see that happening again this year because I think that's what happened to him last year. I think that this team is going to be tanking just in the event that Archie Manning does come out. It's weird with the quarterbacks. It's weird who they drafted, Tyler Show, and it's, they're not even starting him. They're starting Spencer Rattler. They really don't have much on defense. They traded away some of their defensive studs. What really is the incentive for Alvin Kamara to even play? He's already paid. He's, it's
but
like
the same thing
game,
you said about him, literally the same thing outside of the age 30, you give him a Band-Aid contract. Well, and Kamara got paid.
Yeah.
You gave Chuba Hubbard a Band-Aid contract. You actually brought in competition with Rico Dalla, who was 1,000-yard or almost 1,000-yard back, if not 1,000-yard back last year. And then you also had the same thing happen to him last year because Carolina was bad. Miles Sanders came in for him towards the end of the year. He didn't finish the year. So literally the same setup. It's not like Carolina's this great offense. I don't really understand the love for Chuba. If that's the concern, is late down the stretch he won't be available. I mean, Chuba Hubbard is the exact same risk.
No, there's a difference because there's no incentive for Carolina to tank. There is definitely incentive for the Saints to tank. The Saints
aren't making the playoffs. There's definitely incentive for them to tank.
The Panthers were showing out at the end of last year. I don't know if you remember. They were showing out. They were giving teams a run for their money. What
was the record?
I don't know what their record was. It wasn't that good, but they fucking I think they took Philly really close to fucking beating them if they didn't beat them. I think they beat Dallas. Did they beat Dallas last year?
They was trying hard, bro. They was trying down the stretch.
They was trying. They took Tampa Bay. That was a shootout for them, and again in Atlanta, they were showing out. They were putting up good numbers, and I think it gives something to build on.
I don't see it with Carolina, bro. I don't see it with Carolina.
Okay, well,
I mean, it's just not that much different. It ain't that much different than the Saints. Like, they both gonna be teams that we're not talking about in week 15. We're not going to be talking about them as
I
like,
beg to
oh,
differ,
they're
G.
getting a chance to run at the playoffs.
Do you think there'll be a top 15 offense?
Hell no. Strongly hell no. The Panthers?
I think that they have a chance to break in. I probably should have left with top 20, but I think they're thinking about it. I think they have a chance to break in.
Bro.
I think they look good last year, man. And to be honest with you, you talk about like Rico Dowdle, Miles Sanders, like Miles. Are we really like Rico Dowdle's not? He's not.
I mean, you're saying it like Chuba Hubbard is something. He was a backup last year coming into the fucking year.
Chuba Hubbard is leaps and bounds more talented than
what does he do well?
He catches a rock well. He's got really good vision. He was you act like, come on, don't put no smut on Chuba Hubbard's name like that.
Same shit for Rico Dowdle, bro.
Don't put no smut on Chuba Hubbard's name like that.
Same shit.
Look, when he took over the fucking backfield in Carolina, 25 points against the Raiders. 20 points against Cincinnati. Against a stout Chicago defense, 15 points. Against Atlanta, 13. 11 against Washington. Denver had him choked.
For Chuba Hubbard over James Cook, who had 16 touchdowns last year, and Alvin Kamara, who's a top 5 back every single year he plays, like per game.
Come on,
every single year.
Literally,
he's one of the best. He will be a Hall of Famer.
I'm not doubting that. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about Alvin Kamara's career versus Chuba Hubbard's career. I'm talking about 30-year-old Alvin Kamara on a terrible team versus Chuba Hubbard on a team that looks like it's on the uptick. Like they have reason to play for here. They have incentive to tank over here. Like it's not. And you talk about James Cook. Like let's be real. James Cook in the passing game is not that dope. James Cook in the passing game. James Cook is not that dope.
Right now, no. I don't want to do this, but who had better receiving numbers, Cook or Chuba Hubbard last year?
I would say I'll put it on Chuba Hubbard. I'm not even looking. We could look it up. I'm not looking
either. I know James Cook had better receiving numbers than Chuba Hubbard did last year.
Let's have a look-see.
Meanwhile, real quick, Sonny G said I have JT, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne. My receivers are CD, BTJ. Chat, let us know so we can stay on task. My receivers are CD, BTJ, Garrett Wilson, and Jerry Jeudy. You're talking about that trade. Yeah, I don't think you need Chuba Hubbard. You need Rashee Rice for this because if Garrett Wilson or Jeudy isn't if Judy's not what he was last year, or maybe we're wrong about Garrett Wilson, I think having Rashee Rice in there would be really helpful. I get maybe you're concerned about your third running back being DeAndre Swift or Etienne, but I would just keep Rashee Rice.
I wouldn't do that for this reason. I mean, everything you said is good. I don't think that I think that you're fine with JT, James Cook, and Swift, who I think people are underrating Swift a lot in this offense. So I would definitely rather have Rashee Rice than what's his name in the setup.
Yeah, I'm cool off that, man. I'm cool. I would just keep Rashee Rice, bro. And you guys know how I'm not a huge Rashee guy this year. Like go draft Rashee Rice. He's asleep. But I think for the value, it's about right.
Yeah.
Pull up them numbers. You got the numbers ready?
Yeah, 32 catches, 232 yards, and two touchdowns for James Cook.
Okay. How many yards?
He had 230.
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard, 43 catches, 171. So 60 yards
170? Less. Bro had 170?
170, yeah, I know. He was catching again.
Heavy footing it.
It's like,
Ain't no.
So I think it's a little bit of a push because
he had more catches.
He had 10 more catches. He had 60 less yards and 1 less touchdown. So it's kind of a wash. Yeah, bro, but he got targeted 54 times. Whereas James Cook got targeted 30 times.
Ain't no way the Carolina walking in there saying that's what we want to force feed him in the
past. This is the guy.
Ain't no way. Jess Falcon, what's up? Appreciate you, bro. He said, what up, Jay Hen? Any moves I should look for? Half-point PPR. So half-point PPR, 10-team league. J. Herb, Bijan, JT, Pacheco, and Eck. Great job on the running back core there. AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison, Rome, Jawan Jennings, Cooper Kupp. I think you did great on the receivers. Ingram, Kraft, Kyler, and T-Law are on waivers. I think definitely I would rather have Kyler than J Herb, like definitely. And then I don't think and I think instead of having a backup tight ends, all right. I think you're good. I just think the one thing I'd rather have for sure is Kyler over Herbert, like for sure.
I don't know. Like, I think you're doing good. I think to be me, I think I'd rather have T Law over Herb and Kyler.
I'd
But
rather have
that's
T
just
Law over
me.
Herb too. But Kyler's the sure thing.
There's nothing sure thing about Kyler.
What's not a sure thing about Kyler? He's been
What?
top 10. He's literally a top 10 quarterback last year.
Last year was the only year he didn't get hurt in the last like 5 years.
Okay, and
So,
what did he finish in the years before that? He's been a top 10 quarterback every single fucking year.
on a per game basis until he gets hurt, right? Like he's
So you're just saying because you think he's going to get hurt, not because he's
I think he's I think they're a running team. I think he runs well. You know, I like Kyler the player, but he's what is he like 5'9" and always running and always scampering, always get like let's be real. Like they're talking about Herbert running the rock a lot more himself, right? They're talking about I think the ceiling for T-Law is higher than Kyler and Herbert. Kyler, obviously, on a points per game basis, provides a lot more value. I'm just looking the injury for me is big.
Yeah, like you said, even I would do T-Law over Justin Herbert. I think the ceiling is way higher. Like I'd rather miss on Trevor Lawrence than like sit there and try to wait on Justin Herbert to be this top 12 to 15 quarterback. Like that's his ceiling. I just don't. I think T-Law has like top 10 potential as he did before. Of course, I think Herbert's good. It's just it's a run first offense, so we know that. So any moves? I think Jazz Falcon. I think you did a good job.
This is for sure a J-Hand team. We got AJB, Tay, and Marvin Harrison, and Rome.
Cup. Jawan Jennings the only player on here. I'm like,
we got Bijan right there too. Damn.
Yeah, hey, Bijan. Hey, JT. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. This look like a hitter though.
It's not a bad team. You must have got JT in like the third then, huh?
I mean, this is a hitter, bro.
It's not a bad. I would have went a different route when it comes to wide receivers, but that's just me.
Attack running back early too. This is a hitter. I'd be surprised if you didn't like at least contend for the championship this year.
Is this a 10-team league? Yeah, 10-team. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you didn't like have a strong team.
Yeah.
What up, Jahan Amperbot? Rate my 12-man half-point PPR team. I was the 5th pick. I feel like I did good. Just need a solid backup running back. And then Jorge came in. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate everybody who's dropping in the supers right now. Trying to get to those before we get to the other stuff. We had trade stuff on the agenda, but y'all know we got to get to these first. So, one quarterback, Dak in May. So you got Dak as your starter. You got 2 running backs, Kamara, Hall, Harvey, Benson, and Blue. Spears on IR. Then your receivers are CD, BTJ. You only start 2. You got Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Christian Kirk, Luther Burden, and then Ingram at tight end. Who you thinking, P? How you feel about this team, P?
It's not some of the like your running backs are not like look. If you come in with the mentality that look I can wheel and deal. I personally would come through and then look to trade Alvin Kamara, see what you can get for him. I like your wide receiver CD extremely high on, and I'm getting more and more higher on him as that defense starts to take a dip. Trading Micah Parsons, their defense is washed, which means more fucking opportunity for the wide receivers, and CD is one hell of a one to have. BTJ, extremely high on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks the top 4, dare I say 3, top 4 wide receivers. Garrett Wilson's cool, Devontae, but I would trade Alvin Kamara and look to get another wide receiver. And I like your upside guys. You know, Hall's cool. You know, we shit on Hall a lot, and it's a little iffy, but if he is anything in that offense, he's going to be pretty good. He's probably going to fill the Jahmyr Gibbs role. And if he does, then you're solid. And then Harvey's upside is good too. Luther Burden is a little sleeper there as well. And you got a sleeper tight end. I'm not mad at Ingram. Yeah,
I don't really like the backs. I mean, I like obviously Alvin and Brees, but like in half-point PPR, their value's just a little bit lower. I'm not trying to say they're bad. It's just like a little bit lower in half-point PPR. And then you're rocking with like some really high upside. I would say like RJ Harvey, Trey Benson, and Jaden Blue. You just kind of need those guys to take over the starting role. Otherwise, you have no backup. Like say, for whatever reason, Alvin Kamara or Brees gets nicked up early on, and Harvey and Benson and Blue don't take over a sizable load by week 3 or week 4, you're going to be in trouble. So especially if Tajay Spears is out 4 to 6 weeks, you're just kind of hoping one of those guys hits. And I think you have enough receiver depth to, like, if you really needed to, you could flip.
If you pair a running back with Devonta Smith to upgrade your wide receiver position, I think you'd be solid. Another little point. Oh, you got Dak and May in a one quarterback situation. I wouldn't be mad at. Well, you got the connection with Dak and CD. I was just going to talk about May. I think May is going to make a huge step up.
Maybe he will. I'll say this. Last point on this team. Good job, though. By the way, I think if I were like looking to flip, since this is a trade episode, I'd be looking to flip like RJ Harvey before we see him touch the field week 1. Like if I could do RJ Harvey and like you talked about Devontae Smith or maybe even like Luther Burden, give them like a little bit of upside or like because you don't need 4 receivers really, truly.
Yeah,
it'd be nice, but. If you could flip Harvey and Burden and go get you like a nice solid running back too, like go get James Conner. You know what I'm saying? Just get you like a nice third running back that you can have in there. Tony Pollard, like somebody that's a little bit higher than Harvey, I think I would be a lot better off in my opinion. So you might be able to get like a James Cook for that. Just like ask around and see.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Primetime C. This, bruh. Primetime C's. What's good, bro? Appreciate you, man. Showing love, bro. We gonna get to the trade talks, I promise. But we definitely got to get to this one, man. Appreciate you on the super here. Have pick 4, Baker, Gibbs, Achane, London, Terry, Hawkinson, Marv, Ibuka. Your bench, you got Aaron Jones, Coleman, Downs, Addison, Braylon Allen, and Tucker Kraft. So obviously we're going to take some time on this one real quick. Baker, you have pick 4. So the 4th pick, you got Gibbs, came back and took London. And Achane is a 12 team, and Achane fell to you in the 3rd. Good job. Then you came back and got Marv. Then you came back and got Terry. Ooh, Terry in the 5th. I like that. Then you came back and got Hawk or Ibuka. Either one. 7th.
You probably got Ibuka. Then
probably had to take Ibuka a little early. Then took Hawk. Then you went quarterback. You're like, oh, let me go get quarterback. Oh, no, you Aaron Jones. You had to take an Aaron Jones there. Then you took Baker. You're like, I need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coleman, Downs, Addison, Braylon Allen, and Crap. I think you did good here, bro. This is solid. The only thing I would say is your bench is a little on the weak side for me in a 12-team league. Like, you got Aaron Jones who's good. I think, and I love Keon Coleman. It's just, you got to hope Braylon Allen hits for you.
Yeah.
That's why I always advocate, like, on quarterback, just wait. Because I think whoever was there around Baker, you could have waited and got Dak. You could have waited and got Jordan Love. You could have waited and got, like, Trevor Lawrence. You could have waited on quarterback, but not mad.
No, I think it's a good setup, though, because if you got Baker and if the Ibuka hype is real, which I think it is, that connection is going to be stupid underrated. So I like it. I'm not mad at it. You know, and who cares about the bench? Like, let's be honest. If you know, like it's you're starting, you got firepower and you got mad upside in your start. Like Gibbs could be a season winner, like a game winner each and every week. If Achane is healthy, then he could win you a week himself, right? London is solid. You know, if you could only start 2 wide receivers. Ooh. I think it might not be a bad idea to look to flip like a Terry and somebody for like an upgrade at wide receiver.
Yeah, I feel like you're in a really good setup, and if the thing is a setup like this, if Coleman, Braylon, if one of those 2 hits, it's a wrap. Because then you could just pair them up and go get an upgrade. That would be the easiest upgrade ever. If Coleman or Braylon Allen hits, you're upgrading, or Ibuka. If Ibuka hits, shit, you can just go ask for the world, bro. So
yeah, you could cash in.
A little sneaky stack there. And I got you too. Got you. I forgot. I skipped by yours real quick. Any improvements on the 10-man? You got Hurts, Taylor, Gibbs, Michael Pittman, London, Kittle, Worthy. Hurts, Taylor, Gibbs. I mean, this sounds crazy. Pittman might have gone a little early. You got Etienne, Waddle, Harris, Cup, Mixon, Rice. Make any trade?
That's solid, bro. That's solid. It's solid because you got Worthy until Rice gets back, but Rice, you know, when he comes back, it's good because they're both going to have a role in that offense.
Well played, bro.
Jalen Waddle is underrated, I think, as well, because banter, all that BS that Tyreek is talking about, it's tough because like I see him as a value as he's falling, but it seems like they're really looking to pivot off of him. One of the biggest telltale things for me is when I heard that they're not like he's no longer a captain on the team. That's those type of signs are like one thing. If somebody's hurt, if somebody's and they're that age and they don't want to play in the preseason, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm hurt, coach. Let me just chill out this preseason. But if he's not a captain, then that tells me that there's some other stuff going on there. So that makes Waddle a serious value. So
Yeah, because I mean, you got Pittman up there as your starter, but I think like London, Worthy, Waddle, that's your three receivers.
mm-hmm.
And then you can wait on Pittman, you can wait on Cup to see what they look like, and I'm not mad at that. You got Mixon and Rice just in case something happens with one of those guys and they come back a little earlier than if Mixon comes back early or when Rice comes back, you got good upside there. You also got ETN and Najee, who's ETN's a good backup. I think Najee offers a little bit of floor if you need it. And I've got the one thing I want to clear up on Najee too, before we get going, is that I think a lot of people assume that like I think Najee's going to be great for fantasy. I just think he's going to be an interruption for Amari and Hampton. I don't think Najee's going to be like top 15, top 20. I'm not saying I think he takes over like 20 carries and is a monster behind this offensive line, but I do think where he's going right now, which is outside the top 40 running backs, I feel like he's a good RB4 to have, especially if Hampton does have an injury, especially if he is the starter, or maybe he's taking on some passing game work too. Like, I just think that there's a little bit more with Najee as your RB4. You're not taking him as like your RB2 or nothing like that. I think Najee's a nice, safe floor play to have. Maybe he don't got RB1 upside like Hampton does, but you're getting him like 12 rounds after. So that's my take on Najee. It's not that he's great. It's just I think he's being disrespected.
I'm glad you cleared that up. But like a little bit more.
Is that how it came off? Does it come off as like I think Najee's?
It comes off as it comes off as like
didn't say that at all.
I mean the way that you talk about him with so much fucking excitement in your eyes.
It's literally just talking shit to y'all. Like that's
no, I know. No, I know what you mean. The last comment on this though is, in a 10-man league, I think that you made up really well, even though you did reach on, or you maybe didn't reach on, but you got a stud quarterback to tie all this shit into.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did really well cleaning up. This is fucking
and elite tight end. You got elite tight end and quarterback.
Solid, bro.
This is dope,
solid.
Bro. You did good here.
Yeah.
But you drive. This must be like home league type shit. Who they don't know players. They all out there taking Amari on Hampton.
Oh, if they're listening to you, they probably took Najee in the third.
He listened to me and took Najee way late in his draft. What's up, 10-man PPR exact order like this? Lamb, Bucky, Chase, Kittle. Lamb, Bucky, Chase, Kittle, MHJ, J-Mo, Waddle, Dak, Brian Robinson, Jordan Mason, Michael Penix, and then Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, who we'll talk about here in just a second.
Yeah. I don't know why people are it's not bad. I don't know why people are like rushing to draft Brian Robinson. Like if you're drafting Brian Robinson before Jordan Mason, that don't make any sense to me. I think Brian Robinson is maybe like 7 to 10 touches a game at best, but that's neither here nor there. I like the strategy. You know what? It's been growing on me, the strategy of taking like 2 running backs in your first 3 rounds, because there's so much value and upside at wide receiver in like rounds 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm not mad at that. The Dak and CD combo is solid.
This feels like a 12-man league.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I hear you. I'm a fan of Jordan Mason. But
I'm gonna be honest with you. So the way I think about this, you had the probably top 4 pick. If you took CeeDee Lamb, you had a top 4 pick. You came back around and got Bucky and Chase, which means you probably passed on like some really good talent right there, like receivers, like what Drake London, AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, like with Bucky where Bucky and Chase went, you probably passed on some that's top 25-ish type talent. So, it's not bad. It's just and then you went quarterback. You went tight end kind of early too in the 4th round in a 10-team league. So I feel like you kind of went a little early, which isn't bad because in a 10-team league, you need to have some kind of outlier, which I think Kittle's an outlier. It's just, I don't know. I feel like you could have done better. I don't think it's crazy bad or crazy good. I just think that you could have done better, but I don't know how the draft board looked either.
So if Jay, let me hear you out because he probably got Bucky. Oh, so he got Bucky in the second. Yeah. If he had came back and went like Drake London right there, and then came back and got Chase Brown, I think it would have been a lot more solid because, especially in a 10, I think that you can get away with having one solid RB1 and then reaching, or not even reaching, but like picking up some of these running backs that have high upside in the later rounds. Like I'm huge on Jordan Mason in that setup. That gives you an opportunity to have an outlier tight end like you do. Maybe you could have gotten like a stud QB, maybe not in 10-man league, one quarterback, it doesn't really matter. But I think Jordan Mason is a solid bet for like on average 10 to 12 fantasy points. But if the rest of your team is stacked, it's going to work out, right? Whether having these like boomer bust players in your wide receiver starting line, like J-Mo. Like J-Mo's cool. J-Mo's cool, don't get me wrong, but he could, there can be weeks where he gives you like 3 fantasy points. And would you be surprised? No.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's not a bad team. It's just for whatever reason, this feels like it could have been a little stronger. It is what it is, I guess, at this point, though. So just stay active on waivers. I think it's not bad. I feel like you're going to be still competitive. Bad. So yeah. Let's get into a couple players. We'll go a little quicker than on these peaks so we can get some more questions. Shout out to everybody rocking with us. Make sure you guys go to JHen Fantasy. I got write-ups on like 10 out of the 16 games this week, already write-ups. And then in addition to that, we'll have the show tomorrow too as well if you want to catch that. So a couple players I do want to talk about, though, as far as like trade value, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to wonder about. One of the first names to talk about today, Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren was named the starter, just got a contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, like there was a lot of talk. Caleb Johnson got drafted in the 3rd round. I didn't like him coming out of college. I actually talked about that. Didn't like him a whole lot coming out of college as far as being that kind of back for them. Went to a good situation in Pittsburgh. But Jaylen Warren going to be the starter here, at least for this season. And Caleb Johnson now like 3rd in the pecking order according to the depth chart. Kenny Gainwell has a spot ahead of him. Where are you at when it comes to Jaylen Warren? He was being drafted like just outside the top 30 running backs.
You know what? I think Jaylen Warren was getting a little disrespected. I think he was a better looking running back last year. I think that the offense got behind him a little bit more last year. Jaylen Warren is a tank. He's strong. He's a low center of gravity type guy. And he could really, pound it at the middle. He's good when catching the rock. I think he's being really disrespected. And, the whole bit with like the rookies being really low in the draft pecking order, I think that's just, we see that with a couple of teams.
Yeah.
So I don't put too much stock into that. I think it's going to be like a 1A, 1B situation. But with that being said, I think that Caleb Johnson's going way higher than what he needs to be. And I think Jaylen Warren should be the one going a little higher.
So, like, for Jaylen Warren, I think I've been talking about Jaylen Warren being like this good RB2. Kind of if you faded the running back position or you happen to go quarterback tight end early, I've kind of thought like Jaylen Warren was being disrespected. Actually, I think I dropped a post on Jaylen Warren. And it's one of those things where, like, he's going to be involved in the passing game. So in PPR leagues, you're safe. Maybe you're ceding a little bit of the red zone work, but he's already familiar with the offense. And then for them to come out and say, hey, we're going to give you a payday and treat you like the starter too. Now it is all but confirms that he's probably like closer to Tony Pollard range than he is down in like this, back in RB3 range. Like I think Jaylen Warren is going to be a surprise pick. The question you have to deal with, and this is the same thing I had when Najee was there, is as the season goes on, and you kind of alluded to it, as the season goes on, that weather get a lot colder and you want a bigger body back who can handle this. So if you're Chase Brown, that's fine. Like if you think Jaylen Warren can be Chase Brown, that's fine. But there is a chance that as he gets banged and bruised up, you might see a little Caleb Johnson later towards the year. So that's the one risk that you do carry with Jaylen Warren as like your guy that you're counting on through the year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I would worry so much about that because I don't see him as like a tweener, smaller back because he's over 200 pounds, right?
Yeah, but he's like 205. You want to be like 215 You're going all
Yeah.
season long. Like Tony Pollard, I want to say is like 210 and like 209. You want to be like that nice
Yeah.
sturdy 215.
I think he's stout. I don't know if you've seen like his videos where he's training and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
the ones where you like pulling the soccer field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that shit was crazy. I was like, damn, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know he had it like that. But I agree with you. And I mean, what's the identity of this team, right? Their defense, they're gonna run the rock. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, they got DK. But Aaron Rodgers is what, 6 now?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, how old is he really gonna be cooking? Like, is he really gonna be slinging? I think that don't click that. Don't clip that up.
That was wild, bro. You wild, dog.
I think like 3,800 passing yards is like a ceiling for Aaron Rodgers in this point in his career. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think they're being disrespected. I think they're going to play defense. I think they're going to run the rock. I think they're going to be in a lot of games because of their defense. I think you got to move Jalen. I think you got to move Jalen Warren up a little bit.
Speaking of older backs, a little bit, pass catching backs, Austin Eckler was also listed as the RB1 for the Washington Commanders today on their depth chart. And we saw, preseason favorite Bill Krosky-Merritt, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Kill Bill, whatever you want to call him. He done dropped down. He's the RB4 behind Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez right now, which I think, it's not surprising to me, and I don't know that he stays down there forever, but Austin Eckler probably will be in some trades and inboxes coming up this week. Where do you see his value? Because I've already said I thought he was the RB1, but now that it's official, what kind of value do you put on Austin
Eckler? Personally, I don't put much value on it. I think that like he has more perceived value than actual value, which makes him a good trade candidate. If I have him on my team, if I have him on my team, I'm putting him in some inboxes. Do I believe Bill is really 4 in the pecking order? No, and let me tell you why. Not only was he this preseason, not only did his performance make Brian Robinson tradable, but one of the key things you want to look out for is in that last preseason game, they rested their starters. They didn't rest McNichols. They didn't rest whoever's in the number 2 slot. They rested Lil Bill. So for them to play like their backups and rest their starters, and for him to be one of them that was rested, I think speaks more value and more volumes than it does whatever you're going to see on the depth chart pecking order.
Yeah, depth charts aren't obviously indicative of everything, especially early season depth charts. And rookies, oftentimes you talked about it, they get buried on the depth chart and have to rise and earn their role. The one thing I'll say about Eckler, at least, is that I do think he'll be way more than serviceable. And as the guy, I think he provides RB3 flex value immediately. And I think if you're trying to trade him, don't just throw him away as like an old name. He was hurt a couple of years ago that last year as the Chargers we remember him running a little bit slower. And it's like last year, he was actually a valuable running back for our fantasy teams, especially down the stretch. I mean, he had a ton of RB2 type weeks. So if we're getting 3 to 4 catches out the passing game out of Eckler, and then he's also like the lead back and we're talking 15 touches, shit, we might get, top 25-ish type value out of Eckler. So I don't know that I would just throw him away. Make sure whatever you're trading him for, you are getting like a clear upgrade. Like, I wouldn't go trade him for Aaron Jones. I wouldn't go trade him for like DeAndre Swift. I would be aiming a little bit higher than that with Eckler.
I'm higher on DeAndre Swift, so if I got DeAndre Swift for Eckler, I think I'd be okay with it.
With another piece, so I'm not saying.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think right now is the time to trade him because people are going to see, oh, he's on that depth chart. He wasn't like that. He's 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's 30 years old, and he is still.
30. It's the end of the world. Keep saying 30 like it's the end of the world. Like we saw, I mean, there's 30-year-old backs who have performed okay. Like just because he's 30 doesn't mean
I get that, but like we're talking about somebody who is like an injury-prone 30. He's injury-prone and he's 30, right? Like last year he missed games too. I think he missed like 4 games last year.
Did he?
And
pull up his game chart, bro.
Yeah, I think he missed 4 games like late last year, if I'm remembering correctly, and if what I'm looking at is true. But but like I just think that I think he's going to be serviceable as like a PPR back. I think it's going to be a split type, and he's going to be like a third down back. And he can be serviceable, but how really serviceable can you be at that point? Like how consistent and I guess you could say, how reliable for your fantasy team can he be if he's like that? And I'd rather let somebody else take on that with them saying, "Oh, he's the RB1 on that team now."
I mean, he was a top 34 back in 12 games last year, bro. Like he missed 5 games and was a top 35 back. And I mean, a lot of that has to do obviously with the pass catching when it comes to Eckler, but that's still kind of surprising. Even in that year with the Chargers, he was the RB26. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think talent, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into that because I kind of want to move on to the next players. But like, I think we kind of discard talent a little too early at times. Like we say this person's older, they're not good anymore, they're washed. And it's like, sometimes a player is just talented. They know how to win. And I think Austin Eckler is just a running back who knows how to win. Like, I don't know. I think we're chalking him up a little too early as like, he's bad. Maybe he's not RB2 worthy. He's not RB1 worthy anymore. Yeah. But I think as far as like where we're getting him now, he's going way too late.
RB37, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think he's better. I think he's startable.
Start like flex worthy?
Yeah, I think he's a flex for sure.
I'm not mad at him.
Real quick, I'm in another league. Appreciate you, Prime Time. I'm in another league. Oh, my shit went out of focus real quick. I'm in another league. I'm pretty good at receiver with Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Ibuka, Pickens, Pittman, RB. I have Hampton, Henderson, Mason, Charbonnet. Should I swap Hampton and Pickens for JT to have a safer running back? I think you asked this. You got that Colts logo in there, and you already asked it because you already know what the hell I'm gonna say. P, what do you say?
I personally, this is what I think. Personally, I think you may get a little bit more value. I think you may get a little bit more value trading Henderson in that. Because Henderson right now is a flashy player. Everybody wants him. Everybody's kind of reaching on him. Either one of those players I would pair and then get JT to answer your question. Yeah. I think JT's value is actually going to be higher this year than it was last year with A-Rich over there. I get
what you're saying, OP. I get what you're saying because you're not trying to rock with JT and Henderson as your starters. You want JT and Hampton as your starters. So in your head, you're trying to say, hey, see if you can work it the other way because you feel that Hampton is a safer running back too than Henderson is a safe running back too. Am I understanding that the right way?
I think Hampton is going to be the more consistent running back, whereas like Henderson, and he provides a high ceiling and a higher floor, whereas Henderson's going to have those blow-up games. But he's also going to have some games where he's like 8-10 fantasy points. I think you're going to have a little bit more consistency. And I'd want somebody on a team that is established, a top 5 running team. They run damn near every time at the goal line, and they have a big back in to do that. That the consistency is going to be better. You pair that consistency with JT's crazy upside, I think you're going to have a winning strategy versus like JT's crazy upside mixed with like the ups and downs, the hills and valleys of Henderson.
I am mad at that, yeah, because Henderson, I think Henderson's more of a hype situation. You know what I'm saying? Like
a Darren Sproles.
I think he's better than Darren Sproles. I think he'll be better than that, but I think he's more of like this ADP rush, him to the 4th round. I think that's a little bit of like the hype.
That's crazy. Like he's more of a 6th round guy than a 4th round guy.
I got him I still have him outside my top 25. I think he's like number 25 for me.
Yeah.
But a couple more, and then we'll get to questions. Obviously, a ton of questions. See you guys coming in there. We're going to get to a bunch of them here in a minute. Kenneth Walker is another name that we got to talk about trade-wise. There's been a lot of talks about him losing some reps to Zach Charbonnet, who looked the part in the preseason. And I've been a real big Kenneth Walker guy. And actually, I put out a stat the other day. He averaged 3.75 yards per carry last year, which you don't really equate that kind of yards per carry with Kenneth Walker. He's on the screen, he pops, right? So what do you think about Kenneth Walker this year in Clint Kubiak's system, new offensive coordinator for Seattle Seahawks? We've seen what he's done with running backs.
Yeah, I think I'm high on Kenneth Walker. Like, obviously, the issue of him being like injury prone is a big concern. That's a huge concern because he has missed games. He's already looking a little hobbled. But like you mentioned, he averaged 3.7 something last year. That's not good, right? But he also got, he also missed 6 games last year and also got 50 targets. And you missed 6 games, you got 50 targets. that's another layer to his value that you're going to see there. But I think the system that he's in now, that they're running now, I think is going to be more beneficial for his yards per carry. So if he can stay healthy, I'm for it. Is he somebody that I'm targeting for trades? Yeah, because everybody's afraid. Nobody knows right now who's going to be the starter. Is it going to be a 1A, 1B situation? Are they leaning towards Charbonnet? Why is this guy always hurt? That to me is like an opportunity. If you're an opportunist, you could take advantage of that. I think you could buy him for a low, and you could get like a top 17 running back.
Everything is for cost. And so I think if you can get Kenneth Walker at like back end RB2 value, I'm with it. The thing is, the person who drafted Kenneth Walker is probably going to sell you on the fact that they're going to be an RB1. He's going to be an RB1 this year in Clint Kubiak's system. So it depends. I'm not buying Kenneth Walker at like his upside price because I think that there's too many risks associated with it. Yeah. And if I had Kenneth Walker, I would be trying to sell it because I kind of think Kenneth Walker is going to be a hot potato situation. If he scores 3 touchdowns the first week, you're going to be feeling like gold, oh yeah. And then he's going to come with some oblique or groin or sports hernia or some like midsection injury that we're not anticipating until it fucking happens in week 7 or week 8. So for me, I'm looking at Kenneth Walker as, okay, if I have him, I'm going to be looking. There's no way I go the whole season with Kenneth Walker as my running back, my starting running back too. I'm trying to flip him for a better name, for a JT if he starts off slow, for whoever I can get that's a tier above him. If he starts off slow, I would be looking to flip Kenneth Walker. I'm not trying to hold on to a player like that, personally.
So would you trade for him, though, or not? It doesn't sound like it.
I would not trade for Kenneth Walker right now. And I didn't draft a lot of Kenneth Walker. As much as I like Kenneth Walker, I ain't drafted a lot of them because I'm like, where he was going was kind of a scary range for me.
Yeah, I don't have any shares of him either. I think where he goes, I tend to go wide receiver right there. I just think that it's, there's more value in running backs later. But I see his upside, and the owner of Kenneth Walker isn't thinking like, well, give me running back 1 prices. The owner of Kenneth Walker is thinking just exactly how society's thinking. Fuck, man, I got stuck with this guy. How can I? Oh, he's already hurt. Zach Charbonnet. You know what I mean? Like that's so you can come in and get him at a good price. You could still maintain 2 running backs. If you're trading for him, you can still maintain 2 running backs that are probably going to be better than him, that you can still, and he could be like a solid flex option. If you could get him in your flex, I think it's worth it. If you could get him and like you have to give up somebody else in your top 2 running backs, I don't think it's worth it.
Well, hey, and for everybody watching too, like obviously P and I, we've been playing fantasy for a long time. We actually have 1 spot left too in our money league. So if you want to reach out to me on Twitter, it's $100 league. We'll be auction drafting because that's the way you play, and there'll be super flex. So if you want a spot, DM me on Twitter. Make sure your money good, and if it is, we're gonna try to draft here in the next day or 2. I have 1 spot left for that league, so DM me on Twitter. It's a 10-team league as of now. If I get 3 people, we can make it 12-team. But 10-team super flex auction. If you want in on that league, it's $100 buy-in. Message me on Twitter. Okay, let's just get that out there, man. Y'all don't want the smoke.
Can't wait for the auction draft, baby. If you know how to auction, boy, hop in, man.
I'll probably live draft it. I'll live draft it. If we can get it filled today, I'll live draft it tomorrow too.
Nigga, we good. That's money.
Hell yeah. All right, a couple more here. Let's go one more and then let's get to the chat because I feel like chat. We gotta answer some chat.
Yeah.
Last one I want to talk. Okay, hold on. Chat, help us out. Who you want us to talk about? J-Mo, Emeka Egbuka, Javonte Williams, or Najee? Let me know in the chat. Run it up, chat.
Run it up.
Which one we doing? Who are we talking about right now?
I'm thinking
Which trade value wise. Let's talk about one more and then let's get to these questions. They're gonna ask everything but that.
I think the hottest name is Egbuka.
I think it's Egbuka too, and I think that's a good place for us to start. So let's talk about Emeka Egbuka and Najee. Let's see. Najee's the only one that came in. Real quick on Egbuka.
I'm getting to Egbuka.
You said you obviously feel really good about Egbuka, right?
I do.
Chris Godwin's out. Jalen McMillan's out till week 9. Chris Godwin's out probably a month or maybe longer. It sounds like with him it might be a little longer.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get back into game shape because he's been out since last season.
Where put a number on it? Top what?
What he's gonna finish at?
Top what?
You don't come. Listen, bro. Don't. I would not be surprised if Egbuka finishes top 18. Would not be surprised if he's top 18, twin. You
Top
stamp it right
18?
now. 59 minutes and 12 seconds, twin.
Why
Listen,
top 15? Or top 18? Talk to me. Why top
because
18?
like there's obviously some people I can't put him ahead of, but every year it's like the past like 5-6 years, every year there's been a breakout rookie wide receiver. And somebody who has the splash that he has on the offense and who already has built chemistry with their quarterback throughout this whole offseason. It's not like he's just flashing in OTAs and we don't see it in we don't see it in preseason. We do. We see him catching nice touchdown passes. We know that this offense can't support 2 top 10 wide receivers. We know that. We know that to be true. Baker has the capability. He has the arm power. And, we know that it's, a lot of the attention is going to be on Mike Evans. Yep. So that just makes it even more easier for Emeka Egbuka, who has 0 tape in the NFL, for him to fly under the radar and really develop his footing and develop his name and really have some splash weeks early on. I think that he has the best chance out of, if I'm thinking about the other wide receivers, like Tet, could be good. There's other rookie wide receivers I'm thinking about, but I think he has the best chance to actually break out and make a solid fantasy name for himself in that top 18 than any other rookie wide receiver that we have right now.
I think top 18 is not a stretch, I would say. That seems like ceiling to me. Like, obviously, you have Mike there too. So I think ceiling-wise, if he got to top, like, 20-ish value, that would be, like, everything worked out. But I think he's kind of going at, like, top 25 range right now, which is, like, kind of wild to me.
No,
I know you like it.
Top 36. He's top 36 right now.
I personally, how I think I would wait for – I had this deal come in for me. And somebody asked me, they want to do like kind of a swap. It was, they gave me CMC and they gave me Marv. And they wanted from me, it was going to be Bijan and Egbuka. I have Egbuka in this league, right? It's a free league.
Oh, that's not a bad offer, though.
It's not a bad offer, but I was like, okay, I also have Saquon in that league. So I was like, what about Saquon and Egbuka, right? So I tiered it down. I was like, Saquon and Egbuka for CMC and Marv. And they're like, no, they took out Marv and added somebody else. So we ended up declining it, but that's about the range. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to trade Egbuka, I better be moving up until like that next tier, that Marv, Mike, Garrett Wilson. I better be moving up to that tier because I think Egbuka does have that like JMO type tier, worthy type tier. He's kind of in that range, even though he's being drafted there. That's about the range I would value him at. Now, do I genuinely think he's going to finish it? I don't know. But that's where I'm valuing him. I'm valuing him in that like mid-tier to back-end wide receiver 2 lane.
Yeah, so when you're thinking about like where you can value him and where you place him, and at least when I think about this type of stuff, I think about upside, I think about talent, I think about his quarterback play. What I'm gauging is, okay, realistically, do they have the talent to get there? Okay, if he does, what blocks are in the way to prevent him from getting there? And if you're thinking about roadblocks in the way to prevent somebody from getting somewhere, like I have a ton of roadblocks for A.J. Brown where I don't think he's going to be as good as where he's being drafted at, right? I know you differ, and we get that. But what roadblocks really does Egbuka have to being like top 18?
Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, like he's just kind of third in the pecking order unless something happens and he takes over this offense.
We already know that this offense can support 2 wide receivers, 2 top 10 wide receivers. We know that.
But it's a different offense, though, too. This isn't Liam Cohen's offense anymore. So you're talking about roadblock. You're talking about roadblocks. Yeah. Those are just like little concerns I have if I'm being honest. So like, it's not like I think he can't get there. I told you I think that's a ceiling finish for him is top 20. I just don't know that like it's automatic. It's still a good situation. I think it's a great situation for him. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I just think he's more high end wide receiver 3 until proven otherwise.
Maybe and that's what we're talking about. Like like what's his ceiling? That's what I think his ceiling is. And for you in that deal, I mean, I probably I would try to keep Bijan too, but
I'm not trading Bijan, bro.
If he would have accepted the Saquon and Marvin Harrison Jr., you would have been happy with that?
Oh yeah.
So that tells me right there because you obviously value Saquon higher than CMC, right?
Yes. So the difference was Marv and Egbuka, yes.
So you must not really be as high on Marvin Harrison as you're saying.
What?
You're saying Marvin Harrison has like 1,500-yard ceiling, right?
Yeah, that's why I take that value. I get CMC and Marv. I give up Ibuka and Saquon.
Oh, you're giving up
Yeah,
Ibuka.
yeah, bro. This thing,
Oh,
come on, bro.
okay. I thought she was
Come
giving
on,
up.
bro.
I thought
You know,
I was like, hold on, Jay.
you know me
What are
better
you
than
talking
that,
about
bro.
now? No, I know. I was like, nah, okay, all right. So, okay, for sure. I got that backwards at the end.
No, it's all love. It's all love, man. Getting back to these questions real quick. D Ragan, and we will talk Najee and JMO. You guys wanted, I saw the comments coming for Najee and JMO. We'll get to them in a second. Trade T. Higgins and Brees for Achane and McBride. T. Higgins and Brees for Achane and McBride.
I think I may. I think I do that. I would get Achane and McBride.
This is one of sometimes I don't like doing trades like this because I don't know what the fuck your roster looks like. I don't know what your team looks like. It's kind of one of those like you're trading like similar type of value.
I don't see it like that. Like I see, obviously you would have to have like obviously you'd have to be stacked at wide receiver or have like some replacement wide receivers to be considering this. But this you're getting a high upside guy in Achane. Although I'm not as high on him personally, I would take him over Brees. He's on my do not draft list at the fucking start of the second round. No, definitely. But McBride, solid. McBride he's one of those changers that allow you to have the flexibility to be weaker somewhere else because you have, a top 12 wide receiver production at your tight end spot.
Yeah.
So that's solid. Brees obviously has some question marks. Achane obviously has some question marks. I think in doing this trade, you're taking advantage of the person who was afraid of Achane's injury. In reality, T. Higgins injured himself. T. Higgins showed out in a contract year. He is now paid, and when we see players who have contract years, unless they're like upper echelon, elite, top 3 S tier wide receivers, they tend to take it easy because they already got that security.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Achane and McBride side. I sometimes I like seeing what the situation is because like it's half point PPR, if it's full PPR, if it's like tight end premium. Sometimes these trades come in and they're like a little closer. Like there has to be a reason to do. I don't always think you need a trade just to trade. And sometimes these trades come in where it's like very similar type of values. Like I think Achane, I'd rather have him than T slightly. I think McBride and Brees is pretty nominal to me. So it's not like this is like a trade that's far off. If I had to pick the side, I'm picking Achane and McBride. Joe, appreciate you, homie. Said my team is Love, Gibbs, Achane, Tyreek, Marv, McBride, Worthy, Pearsall, Monty, Mixon, Fields, Tank, Charbonnet, Rome, Ayuk. I have lots of players on the same team. Should I make moves? If it's a PPR league, I'm not overly concerned about like players on the same team, right? Because you can balance floor and upside. I don't think it's the end of the world to have like Marvin McBride. You have the 2 best pass catchers on the Cardinals. So I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's bad to have, Achane and Tyreek. Like
Gibbs and Monty.
Yeah, Gibbs and Monty. I feel like I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Pearsall and Ayuk can maybe it happened by chance, but I mean, just off the surface, this team is fucking loaded.
This team is nice. Yeah, this team is. It's just funny how you have like,
yeah,
you really have like 3 teams.
We was looking going, oh, like, damn, you really do got.
That's hella funny.
It's not bad. I feel like your team is dope.
It's not a bad team at all. I think I don't know why Pearsall is being criminally underrated the way that he is, but getting him in like the 8th or 9th or 7th, whatever he's going right now, to me is nuts, bro. To me is nuts. I don't know how you feel about this, Jay, but Pearsall being in that offense, the wide receiver one in that offense, yeah, they obviously have studs and Kittle, but Pearsall has the pedigree, right? He's drafted in the 1st round. He doesn't really have anybody in his way in wide receiver. Yes, there's old-ass Christian McCaffrey, old-ass Kittle there, who are going to be productive and who rightfully so should be ahead in that pecking order. But this offense obviously does go with people making plays at the wide receiver position. We've seen it the last few years. We've seen it, as a matter of fact, in all of Shanahan's tenure. He's always had a stud wide receiver that what made his offense go. He happens to be blessed with an elite tight end, now an elite running back, but still is going to eat with the wide receiver, and Pearsall is that person. So I don't, they can afford Pearsall. You know what I mean, what you got on it?
Where I'm at with Pearsall is I think he'll be like kind of an inconsistent, like back end wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 when Ayuk's out. But when Ayuk comes out, I feel like his value is going to kind of like he'll be fourth in the pecking order at that point. And who knows if Jawan Johnson's coming back or not. I think early on in the season he'll be a good value. He definitely would be somebody like week 4, week 5. I'd be like, yo, I gotta get him off the roster. Like definitely would be looking at trying to trade Ricky Pearsall. But I think early on in the season, I mean, he's not a top 25 guy to me. Like, there's 25 receivers I'd rather have than him. So I just don't really see a whole lot of upside with him, knowing that he's like third in the pecking order right now. If McCaffrey goes out, then we got a whole different combo. If George Kittle is maybe less involved, then we got a whole different. I think more so McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's healthy, I'm not really looking at Pearsall as like a true game changing option. Personally.
I just think that Pearsall has all of the opportunity to really like seize a spot, right? Oh, if he's like up and down the first 4 weeks that Ayuk's not, I think they got Ayuk being out 6 weeks, right?
6 weeks,
If he's like inconsistent, then when he has a blow up game, I think you should ship him off. But if he is consistent, he would actually be somebody that I'm targeting. And what I'm putting in that person's ear is like, hey, Ayuk's coming back. So like, you really want to take that L? You know what I'm saying? And then you can get him for the low.
I hear you. But like, I think you're actually in a really good setup here because he's like your fifth receiver. You know what I'm saying? In my world, he's the fifth. In your world, maybe he's the fourth. But Tyreek, Marv, Worthy, Rome, and then Pearsall, to me, he's like the fifth receiver that you have. So, and then Ayuk too. I think you're in a good spot. So I'm not worried at all about like the same team shit at all.
Yeah. I don't know. If the bye weeks line up, you could be fucked.
Yeah. Be careful with them buys. You're right about that, dog.
Yeah.
You're right about that. All right, let's get into Najee real quick. Najee and J-Mo back to back real quick. So with Najee P, obviously, like I've said my piece about him. The one thing is I think Najee's a misunderstood back. He should be available week 1 for the Chargers. They play Friday night. Now, I think there's a ongoing debate about, like, is Omarion Hampton a starter? Najee is listed right now as a starter on the depth chart. I think they've listed him as co-starters since then. But I think both backs are going to be utilized. And we've talked about Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh. You know, they'll use both backs. Greg Roman specifically has used multiple backs in his career, and especially with younger backs, he makes them wait a year before they just take over the starting role. Now, I know you've talked about your love for Omarion Hampton. You kind of bashed Najee. Obviously, people know where I'm at as far as, like, I think Najee is a good player, maybe bad spot, good player. Talk to me about Najee Harris and what you think with this new news that he might be a starter, maybe he's not, maybe he's seen more touches, maybe he's not. Like, give me your feedback on it.
I mean, I just don't think that if Najee had never even gotten hurt, I still would feel the same about him. I don't think that Najee's exciting. I don't think that Najee's particularly, like, explosive. I think that Najee's a trotter. He looks slow in and out of his breaks. And he, you know, I think that right now he's just in the way of somebody who is going to be superior than him. You know, like he could be, and that could just be the case. Like he's just not that good. He's never been that good. And I don't know. It's just not. It's not somebody who I even considered drafting. It's not somebody who I consider on my team.
I think it's just a cliche thing to say. Like,
no, it's not a cliche thing to say because he's not that good.
He was top 10 in runs over 10 plus yards. He was top 10 in runs over 20 plus yards. You said he's not explosive. Okay. He showed explosiveness.
That doesn't mean you're explosive. Bro, just because somebody's top 10 in rushes over 10 yards doesn't mean they're explosive. That just means that team happens to run a lot. Because on that team, they were one of the top rushing teams.
He had 260 attempts. It's not like he had 300 plus attempts. He had 260 attempts last year.
Okay, so he had 260 attempts. How many attempts did Jaylen Warren have?
I don't know what Jaylen Warren had.
Yeah, so Jaylen Warren had probably, I would say maybe like 170. I don't know. We could look it up.
Yeah,
but to me, that offense was moving a lot better with Jaylen Warren as well, right? It's not like Najee got paid some crazy obscene amount. But if Najee was as good as people think he is, they would have signed him for that same amount on his team, the team that drafted him. They drafted him in the first round, realized they made a mistake, and they're just like, okay, well, we could let any other team have you. Bro, like he's getting like $7 million a year.
Who Najee or Jaylen Warren?
Najee.
Yeah, Najee got like 5 million, but it's like he has up to 9 million in incentives or something like that.
Okay, so
Something
he's
crazy.
guaranteed about 5 million, right?
Yeah.
And Jalen Warren's guaranteed about 7.
I don't remember. I don't remember. He got a 2-year extension. I don't remember the exact numbers.
So if you just look at it from a like a not a fantasy perspective, just a real football perspective,
Yes,
he's been outplayed by the guy behind him. They chose to keep and extend the guy who's playing behind him because that team functioned much better with the guy behind him playing. And that's the story of Najee Harris. Like, he was drafted in the first round, great. Back in the first round, great. We've seen him. He was excelling, I believe, in his rookie year because he was catching the rock a lot. And he was, he was getting in the goal line a lot. But since then, since Ben Roethlisberger left, there's nobody to pepper him. There's nobody to do that. Like, they didn't value him over there. I don't know that they're going to value him over here. And like, if they do value him and we get the same Najee that has been running with Steelers, the same type of runner, if he hasn't like worked on his explosiveness, hasn't worked on, other things like that, what are we really even talking about him for? I think that he's the player that we talk about the most who doesn't deserve to be talked about. Like, he doesn't get it.
What does that even mean? Like,
what does he mean? What do you mean? Like,
I hate this because it's like Jalen Warren has been a change of pace back his whole career. So yes, you're supposed to come in just like Tony Pollard was in Dallas, and everybody said, "Oh, this is what we want." And Tony Pollard went and got the feature role, and now he looks kind of regular. Jalen Warren's going to get the starting role. I'm sure he's going to look kind of regular. But like, Najee is not bad. I know you guys hate it, but it's like 1,000 yards is a staple. It's a staple of having good volume and playing well. And the one problem I have is that I think everybody says he's ass or that he's trash, and it's just clearly just statistically not true. We have to spend time talking about this when it's not true. Even when you watch tape, you watch the eye test, you're saying that he can't see holes or that his vision, whatever the hell you said, it's just not true. He actually sees holes decently enough to go get yardage. Every single play, he fucking gets yardage behind a terrible offensive line. So for me, I see Najee. I'm just like, I see a talent. I respect the talent of getting 1,000 yards every single year, being 4 yards a carry. Being 4 yards a carry is not bad. Like, I don't see that the same way as everybody else. Everybody's like, oh, he's not explosive. Obviously, he has explosive runs. That is the part I think with Najee that I'm at. It's not that I think he's going to be great for fantasy this year. It is more so the fact that he's being disrespected. And I think in trades, I would be actively looking to go get Najee as like my RB3 or 4 if I could.
That to me is fucking nuts. And let me ask you that doesn't make any sense. Who would you rather have? Najee or Javonte Williams?
Najee.
Why?
So I think Najee's in a better spot. He's behind a team that's actually going to run the football. He's probably going to get red zone opportunity. And especially if he is in a timeshare where it's more of a 50-50 split, who knows if Javonte's going to be the starter by week fucking 3? Give me Najee.
So who knows if Javonte's going to be started by week 3? I get that. But Najee, you can say the same exact thing because, look, this team actually invested a first-round pick in a stud running back, a bruiser running back who is like clearly a better talent than Najee. And you think that your justification is because Javonte may not have a starting gig?
This is where I differ.
Okay.
I don't know that Hampton is just this superior. Like, yes, I think he is a better athlete than Najee, especially at this point in his career. Do I think he is just a better runner than Najee? I don't think that yet. I think he has to prove that. I'm not going to just give him the stamp of approval. Yes, athletically, I think he's faster than Najee. And he's a bigger back, too. It's not like he's running a fucking 4.3. He's probably, 4.5, 4.45, somewhere around there. And then Najee's probably he probably runs a 4.5 himself. So it's not like he's a sprinter.
Yeah.
You laughing, but Najee breaks away more than you think. And so I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I watched the tape. Like, I trust me. And I've gone and done my homework I've had to go do my homework on Najee more than I even want to. So it's not that I think that he's, like I said, he's not going to lead this. In my opinion, he could. I don't think that he's going to lead this backfield and be like a top 15, 20 back. But what I do think is that he's probably going to have some red zone work, and he's going to be a good threat. Like, and I just think that when you talk about, you said, would I rather have him or Javonte? It's like, I can see Miles Sanders taking over this backfield very soon. I can see Jaden Blue taking all the receiving work because Javonte was trash with his receiving work in Denver.
I agree with you.
I think Najee's just a better bet.
I agree with you. And that the reason why I came up with that comparison is because I really see Javonte and Najee being very similar. Like we have high hopes for Javonte, even in that Sean Payton system, but he just never looked the fucking part. He could really never beat out anybody because it's like who who is your competition over there? And
Fucking Estime.
Audric Estime, like
Khalil
Audric.
McLaughlin.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, my name's probably I can't really talk shit on names, but I'm just saying, like, let's be honest, bro. Like, if you can't beat them out and you get kicked to the curb, what do we expect? I don't think that that same sentiment is any different from Najee. Omarion Hampton ran a 4.46, by the way. But I don't think that it's like any different. Like Omarion Hampton is a better athlete.
Najee's probably a 4.5. If I had to guess, Najee's 4.5.
I would say probably Najee's like a 4.6. I don't know, but
he's not that slow, bro.
No, I think this is one of those situations where it's like, you know, you're seeing past the eye test and going into these stats, and it's like, you know,
I'm looking at the eye test. I watch every game, bro. I'm watching Najee.
And are you excited about Najee Harris when he plays? You watch every game and you're excited about him when he plays.
I don't have to get hard for Najee Harris, bro. I don't have to get fucking excited.
I didn't say all
that. Najee Harris, bro. Like, chill. You're like, oh, you're excited for him. You want to like these players. I don't care about that. I care about winning, bro. I don't care.
Najee's not a winner, G. Najee's not a winner, bro. They went 500 like the last 3 seasons with Najee. And you're talking about winning? 4.66. Najee ran a 4.66.
I'm looking at it, 4.57 right here. I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah. Najee. Oh, I don't know. 4.66 from his high school. That's the first thing that popped out to me. Yeah, I was gonna go in 4.66, bro. I mean, but like, you know what I'm saying? It is like Najee. I think to me is like going as RB 30 fucking RB 45. I think that's a good place for him. Would you take Najee over Braylon Allen?
Yeah, of course.
Would you take
I like Braylon Allen's upside a lot too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like his upside. I think his upside is higher than Najee's, which is why I would take him.
I agree with that.
Would you take Najee over Nick Chubb?
Instantly.
Tank Bigsby.
That's about the range. Then I'll probably go Tank Bigsby.
Okay. Dylan Sampson.
Give me Najee.
Ollie Gordon.
Give me Najee.
Trey Benson.
Give me Trey Benson.
All right. I would take Trey Benson, and Trey Benson's going after him.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, he's just in that realm.
Bro. He's in that weird range of like high-end backups, and I'm like, give me the starter over some of them. You know what I'm saying? So
would you take him over Jaylen Warren?
No, hell no. Nah. Jaylen Warren, I told you, I think Jaylen Warren's about to. I think Jaylen Warren should be like.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about
that. You know who we don't talk about? We don't talk about Cam Scatterbo.
If that name was until he breaks the waiver conversation, we don't need to talk about Cam Scatterbo at all. I probably said that name like 3 times all summer, bro.
Nah, but Cam Scatterbo.
I said that shit mock drafts.
Yeah. That's it. Cam Scatterbo is interesting, but you know, I lost a lot of respect for him.
I just put that in the article today. I did the Giants, or maybe I'm about to do the Giants game. I started doing the homework on it. Tyrone Tracy might be like a really big value right now. I think we punished him a little too much, thinking that Scatterbo was going to take over. I think Tyrone Tracy, like somebody who, I think with DFS specifically, I made an article about this already. It's on the JHAN Fantasy website. Mm-hmm. DFS specifically, I would be targeting Tyrone Tracy as like the last running back on my roster, bro. Like, if I could.
He's being crazy.
Especially in that matchup. They play who they got? Washington, right? They got Washington. Yeah. The high scoring matchup potentially.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Questions. Let's get in. Finnegan, appreciate you, homie. You said 12 team, half point PPR. You got Dak, JT, Kamara, Mason, Warren, Mixon, CD, Marvin Harrison, J-Mo, Coleman, Higgins, Reed, Hawk. Any moves to make? As far as trades, this looks clean to me. Like your receiving core. You got great upside here. Love the running backs you got here, too. And then you got Hawk at tight end, Dak at quarterback. I don't really see a whole lot here. Maybe consolidation on that RB3 if you could somehow like pair up Mason and Warren and go get a better RB3. Maybe your wide receiver 4 could be a little stronger, like Jaden Reed and Coleman or Jaden Reed and Higgins, trading that up. But other than that, I like this team.
For the 9 spot, so did you go what? CD? You went JT right
CD,
there.
JT, Marv, Kamara, JMO, and then what'd you do after JMO? You take Hawk, then Hawk.
I don't know. I don't like this team that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm
I
not mad at this.
mean, I
Half
think
point
you're
PPR.
yeah, halfway PPR is not bad. I think you're we talked about Mason being a little a value. We talked about Warren being a value. I'm not as high on your RB2 Kamara. I think if you were going to trade anybody, my opinion, up Kamara and you pair up JMO and get a better wide receiver 3 or a better flex position, right? And like if you could get it, because with those two, you can get a stud player with those two. You can get a stud player with those two. And if you throw that person in your
Like
flex,
who? Put a name on it.
you trade Kamara and you trade JMO, you can probably go to that the scared Devon Achan fan. You could probably go get like a Kyron Williams or even a Chase Brown maybe for those
So
two.
you would do that to move Kamara, you would do that and then have Coleman be your wide receiver 3?
Yeah, I don't see much of a difference between Coleman and like JMO. Like JMO's going to be up and down, but I think Coleman's ceiling is high, bro. I think
I
Coleman's
like
ceiling is
Coleman
high.
too, but why would you bank on that? You know what I'm saying? I
But
don't know.
think of it, but this is what's going to happen because you can only start 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, but you got to flex too, though.
Yeah, but like in my flex, you would have Chase Brown, JT. You can put Warren or you can put Mason, who I'm really high on, in that flex position. Get yourself 12 fantasy points a game.
See, I guess that's the difference in how we trade. Because why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just take Mason, Mixon, and Coleman and try to figure something out there instead of like taking JMO out that spot? Like I would love to have JMO in that spot, especially for the upside. And then you have Kamara already. So the difference between Kamara and Chase Brown, say you think Chase Brown is just so much better than Kamara. What's it, a 2-point difference a week? Like
no, you're tripping. Listen, the difference between Kamara and Chase Brown to me is not just like 2 fantasy points a week. I'm avid in talking about this until I'm blue in the head. Kamara's not finish the season. He's not going to finish. He's not going to finish the season. He's not. This team is tanking. The team is going to tank, bro. They're going to try and get one of these other quarterbacks.
I cannot wait to run this back. I should clip that shit up.
Clip it up, G. Clip it up.
I'll
pin that shit. Clip it up, G.
I'll pin that motherfucker.
I'm keeping that shit G, man.
Take it back to the gods days when they want to pitchfork us. He said he was going to get hurt. He's celebrating injuries. Golly, shit.
Damn.
8-man league with no IR spot. Today, this is a side note. It's been 12 years to the day since we went out to San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Side note.
I could still feel my ankle when I like. You know how high that fence was, bro? That was fucking crazy.
God damn.
That was nuts.
Bashing out windows and shit for no reason, bro.
No reason. That was one of the most memorable nights. So I'm not.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. Yeah. 8-man league with no. She was like, ah!
Yeah.
Hopped off the stage, was crazy.
I was like in fucking like 10-inch heels. I was like, what? Bro. That's athletic. Bro. I had a little bit more respect for them after that. I said, fuck. I was watching that shit like,
came back. I got a bandage on my arm. You got shredded pants, bro. Y'all ain't gonna know what the hell we talking about. That's the coldest part. That's one for the books, bro. Mm-hmm. 8-man league, no IR spots. I got Addison. Should I keep him on bench or pick up Golden or Pearsall? Keep 2, cut 1. ETN, JCM, Mason. So 8-man league, JCM could go, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you got to keep 2, cut 1, JCM is gone. ETN, Mason, they got roles. JCM does not. Go. That's the easiest decision right there. That one. And then second, if you have Addison, should I keep him on the bench or pick up Golden or Pearsall? I think if I was going to pick up one, pick up Pearsall. I don't know that I need to keep Addison, but I would just go Pearsall and wait for Golden because they played Detroit week 1 in Green Bay. I might let Addison go, bro. I for
Yeah.
sure am cutting JCM, and I'm probably cutting Addison and rocking with Pearsall.
You got to think. Addison is suspended. Is it 6 weeks?
Three games, so he's not coming back till week 4 at the earliest.
Yeah. So week 4 they have a bye, right?
Oh yeah, damn.
And then week 5 they're in they're overseas, right? For 2 weeks they're going to be overseas.
Yeah.
So then you're not going to really see him for like
week 6.
Week 7. You're really not going to see him be like full until like week 7. So, especially, and it's an 8-team league. Like nobody's going to be looking to pick up somebody who's going to be out that long.
Yeah, and you just know you're talking about week 6. Like that's having to fight through buys, potential injuries now, and you're holding up a roster spot that's not IR.
Mm-hmm.
Golden or Pearsall, I don't care either one. I go Pearsall over Golden for right now.
I would pick Pearsall over Golden too.
Yeah, and JCM can go, bro, in a heartbeat, bro.
Cut one, ETN or JCM or Mason. I don't know, man. I'm not as high. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I think they've been looking to replace ETN for the longest, but it's a new regime. Who knows? I think I would cut
ETN and keeping JCM.
I like JCM, bro. I really am high on JCM. I don't think that, and we talked about this earlier. Like it's one thing for him to be in the back of the pecking order on the depth chart, but it's another thing for them to be like praising this guy all preseason and then sitting out him along with all the rest of the starters the last preseason game. That is and he's the reason why they traded Brian Robinson. Like Brian Robinson's like, this guy's taking all my run. Like, get me out of here. And they're like,
it was more of a I think it was more of a contract thing. He's in the last year of his deal. There's 5 backs on the roster. You can only have 4. I think Bill's just anyway. We spend enough time on
like we're talking about Nichols. You're keeping Nichols over Brian Robinson. Nichols can go, bro.
ETN and Mason.
I know what you're saying. I'm talking about Washington.
Money wise, it makes sense. You had to pay Terry. That was why to me. It made sense money wise to get rid of Brian Robinson. That's what it seemed like, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Cade said, "Yo, Jayhan, should I be buying this annual thing on your site to get weekly rankings stuff? Just want to make sure I'm buying the right things." Appreciate you, Cade. Actually, Cade, check your email. I tossed you a freebie, bro. Appreciate your support over the years, man, and handling the Discord and always like keeping shit in. Cade, man, you've been here since the Just Hoop Talk days, bro. So appreciate you, bro. Like I said, tossed you a freebie for the whole year. So
big Cade.
Hats off to you, bro. So yeah. Don't worry about the buying an annual thing. You're already covered. So check your email. You got a little freebie in there, all right?
Yeah, look at you, man. That's what's up, dude.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, I can't get to everybody, but I try to take care of some of the people that take care of me. So
yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Hey, I know there's a lot more that came in. Obviously, real quick on JMO. JMO is a trade for, in my opinion. I think once we see it on tape, it's a wrap. What do you think about JMO? You think he's going too high?
No, I don't think he's going too high. I think he's going in that right in that good spot where there is a lot of value at wide receiver. He's somebody who, if you go 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds, he's somebody who can definitely target in like 3 wide receiver sets or 3 wide receiver sets in a flex. And he's going in a good spot. I like JMO.
I like JMO. I like JMO a lot. He's been Jayhan fan. I think he's like a 1,300 guy this year plus. I think he takes over. I think he takes over the wide receiver 1 spot. I do.
That is a hot take if I ever heard one. I'm not saying I'm not mad at it. I agree to an extent because not with him taking over the number 1 spot. I think the entire offense is going to look different, right? I think, and I've been open about Amon-Ra not being top 3, top 4.
You scared to say JMO's going to take over.
No, I don't think he's going to take over. I think Amon-Ra's going to take over. Like
okay. So here's the exercise. Here's the exercise. You said Amon-Ra's a little high. What kind of put numbers on Amon-Ra St. Brown this year?
I think Amon-Ra's like a 1,200 guy. I think Amon-Ra's 1,200. I would say like 95 catch guy this year.
95 catches, 1,200. Okay. And JMO was over 1,000 yards last year. What do you think he's at this year?
I think JMO is going to be like JMO's, to me, I think is going to be like maybe 1,100, but he's going to be like a 67 catch type guy. You know what I'm saying? And like 7 touchdowns.
So you think there's less emphasis on the catches and maybe similar yardage?
I think that entire offense is going to take a step down, whereas I actually think from last year, their tight end position is actually going to take a step up.
So I just think Laporta this year.
I don't like Laporta this year. I think that Laporta is going to be better than he was last year because I think he was hurt or whatever. I wouldn't take Laporta as tight end 4. What I'm saying is that we don't know what this offense is going to look like. I know that it has a defensive-minded head coach, and I don't think it's going to be open and extravagant enough to support all of these 1,000-yard wide receivers. I think they're going to be focusing on the run, the tight end. I think if anything, this is going to hurt Amon-Ra the most, because Amon-Ra is the one who runs those like intrinsic routes. He's the one who's like, he's a shifty guy, slot receiver guy. And I just don't know that they have the offensive play caller to like keep Amon-Ra at that 1,500, 12, 110 catch type of pace. Whereas it's easier for them to run the rock, have Laporta go crazy, and open things up throughout the pass, which is why I'm thinking J-Mo's like 1,167 catch type of guy, if that makes sense.
I think he was that last year. You bring in John Morton to help this passing game out. Obviously, like Ben Johnson's gone. So it's like when you hear we want to throw downfield more, that's really one player, like literally one player.
Yeah.
And all offseason, you kind of got to worry about Amon-Ra's knee too. He had that offseason surgery, and they said it was like he was slow to get to camp. You just don't know what's going on with that part as well. But like you heard J-Mo added muscle. You heard he looks more focused this year at camp. Like you're hearing all the right things as far as like breakout. And last year he was 1,007. So I look at that. He was former first-round pick, number 12 pick overall, 10 pick overall.
Yeah, he was
obviously
good. He was
blazing speed, one of the fastest receivers in the league. Like high pedigree coming out of Alabama. Like could be J-Mo's season, but
it could be J-Mo's season. And the more you talk about it, the more I could get behind it. But like, how many catches do you think he's gonna have?
Say the thing is, like, he had probably 50-something catches last year. So like that was 1,000 yards. If he's like 75 catches this year, 75, 80 catches, we're talking like 1,200, 1,300 yards.
Yeah, but it's a different, like it's a different, and Amon-Ra's knee looks good because he was cutting it the fuck up in preseason and in
I'm not saying he's hurt. I'm just that's something to monitor as you get older.
Yeah. So he was 1,001. The yards per reception I think is going to stay the same. So like I think it's a long line. He gets if he gets 67, 70 catches, I think that's going to fill that void of like making him 1,000-yard wide receiver to a 1,100-yard wide receiver.
Quick numbers real quick. So he was at 50. How many catches last year?
58.
So 12 extra catches. What was his yards per catch?
17.
17 times 12. You're talking about almost 200 extra yards.
Which puts him. Oh, he's at 1,200. Now, who do you think you are, Doc? Who do you think you are, G? I got him at 11. You got him at 12.
I'll be doing that. I'm telling you, sometimes the numbers be telling on their sales, bro.
That's facts.
But yeah,
I mean, we were only really like 100 yards off.
I like J-Mo.
Yeah, we're only like 100 yards off.
So, all right, Joe. Hey, I know P got to go. I got to go. So we'll get with y'all soon. But appreciate y'all tapping in tomorrow. I'll be on for Game by Game. If you want some early Game by Game access, head over to jhanfantasy.com. Some write-ups are up. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.